first race in 55 days. Race 1 of the 2024 Pirelli Emilia-Romagna round gets underway with a flying start from Remy Gardner from third on the grid. Good jump as well from Alvaro Bautista. Challenges to the inside line into turn 1. He's already alongside teammate Nicolo Bulliger, who's got swallowed up and is going backwards. Gardner leads. He's hit the front ahead of Razgatlioglu. Bautista and Bulliger still scrapping it out over third position. Decent launch initially from Andrea Iannone. He's up to P6. Locatelli also coming through on Alex Lowes, who's down to 7th, with Sam Lowes now for company in P8. Alex, I think, has got back through now on Andrea Iannone. Axel Bassani charging through the order as well.
Yeah, it looked like we had a rider down in the background. It might have been Michele Pirro at turn 4.
So Razgatlioglu already thinking about trying to recover top spot against Remy Gardner. Super start it was from him on the outside of that front row. Yeah,
it was Javi Vierge down the red Honda, but good start from that fourth row for Bassani, like you said, and up into the top 10, giving himself the chance of some decent points in this race.
Alex Lowes still trying to recover on the inside of Andrea Locatelli there as they tiptoe their way through turn 10. Now the speed builds towards Curvone, fastest corner on this circuit. Gardner leads from Razgatlioglu in second, Bautista in third, Bulliger in fourth. Has opened a bit of a margin now to Andrea Locatelli, 0.3 of a second, the gap to fifth position, and Locatelli for the moment backing up Alex Lowes as well.
Yeah, and Remy really... that could be Jonathan Ray maybe in the background. It looked like a blue bike.
I think it might well have been Jonathan Ray, who has gone tumbling out of this race at high speed on the opening lap. The latest in a catalogue of misfortunes for the former world champion at the start of this 2024 campaign.
Yeah, and you can see here with Bulliger, he's a little bit wide. Is that going to leave him a little bit vulnerable from Locatelli behind them? But at the front of the field, Remy Gardner riding with so much confidence as well. We saw him through those right-handers at the end of the lap, really using every inch of the racetrack.
Locatelli around the outside of Nicolo Bulliger at turn 2, and the pair almost connected. Locatelli was far faster coming off the final turn at the end of the opening lap. Jonathan Ray walking away from an incident in the very early stages. We won't get to see what a climb might have looked like for him. Meanwhile, back at the front, Alex Lowes makes his way through as well on Nicolo Bulliger, and this will have been Bulliger's biggest concern. As well as you want to qualify, if you find yourself getting banged out of the way in the early stages, down to 6th position here for Bulliger, trying to recover against Alex Lowes, and for the moment doing so successfully, you put yourself back from the podium trio who are starting to escape away. Look. Coming through the final turn where Toprak Razgatlioglu had his spill in practice yesterday. No such problems this time around for Toprak, who's got a good exit from that final turn. On to start another lap. He's already up alongside Remy Gardner in towards turn 1, but can't quite outbrake him. Gardner will have to be cautious not to lose the position into turn 2. He covers the line quite nicely, but for the moment, it's all defence for Gardner. Toprak Razgatlioglu on the attack.
Let's just remember about Remy Gardner, though, a Moto2 world champion, a rider that was able to make the difference in a series that was all basically about being on the same package with the Calyx bike back then. So for Remy Gardner, we know how good of a rider he is. He also knows how to win races and world championships, so he's not going to be fazed by having Toprak chasing him down.
The fastest lap of the race from Toprak Razgatlioglu, 1 minute 33.681 there on lap 3, and Toprak's making his move down the inside of Remy Gardner. We're riding on board with Nicolo Bulliger as Razgatlioglu takes the lead of race 1 of this 2024 Pirelli Emilia-Romagna round.
And let's see what Toprak's pace is now, and if Remy's able to go with him. Like I said, comfortable in the first few laps for Remy, and now's the point of the race where you have to start being able to go with those riders. But it has been really promising for Remy, front row of the grid, leading those early laps. But at the end of the day, he's not the first rider that's going to be attacked by Toprak into turn 8 and come off second best. This is the key overtaking opportunity all the way through the race here. This is where we're going to see all the moves. So for Toprak to be able to make that move, it is one of the positions where if you can get your bike down the inside, you immediately take that high ground. So an easy move.
Bautista is bottled up behind Remy Gardner. Nicolo Bulliger has far more pace than his teammate, already starting to make up ground. 0.3 of a second pulled back on Alvaro Bautista already. Bautista sees this as the opportunity to make the move. He is going to have to be very forceful. That is a classic block pass there from Alvaro Bautista. Can Gardner immediately respond? The answer is no. The acceleration now towards Curvone for Alvaro Bautista, and Nicolo Bulliger again making his move there through turn 11. So Bulliger's perfected something quite unique there, and Gardner suddenly finds himself in a matter of 3 turns going back from 2nd to 4th. It's Bautista versus Bulliger, the number 11 who's already made 2 passes here through Curvone. He's not going to be able to do it against his teammate Alvaro Bautista. Now it's about perhaps setting himself up for a move into Caro, the slowest corner on the circuit, turn 14. Razgatlioglu now 1.5 seconds clear at the head of the field. The only man with the pace to match him seems to be Bulliger, but he's tripping over his teammate Bautista once again on lap 7.
Yeah, and you can see with Remy Gardner behind them as well, they are bottled up a little bit, and we're not seeing the pace that you'd expect to see from Alvaro Bautista. Still only at 1/3 distance though, so Alvaro, we might well see him come back into it later in the race, but the gap between him and Toprak, it's stretched out to almost 2 seconds now, and it's another half second on this lap that Bautista's lost. He's trying to be defensive against Bulliger, but he just doesn't look comfortable on that corner entry. You see into turn 1 there, he just doesn't look like he's got that normal fluidity that we see from Alvaro whenever he starts to turn into the corner.
And Bautista last lap around slower than the likes of Locatelli and Lowe's, and that's why they are also coming back into the picture now.
Same again
wide
there into turn 4 as well, so Bulliger's going to have an easy move.
Yeah, Alvaro Bautista a little bit wide, a little bit sluggish. Bulliger picks his pockets in straightforward fashion. That might be the best possible outcome here for the Aruba.IT Ducati factory, because Bulliger can now start thinking about hunting down Toprak Razgatlioglu. Andrea Locatelli closing down on Remy Gardner, but lost a little bit of ground midway through that previous lap.
First flying lap there with clear air in front of him. Bulliger 0.4 of a second faster than Toprak.
Locatelli clips the back of Remy Gardner going into turn 2. He had half committed to the move. He was too close to Gardner to bail out of it. Remy Gardner doing well to stay on. Locatelli's momentum now perturbed. Alex Lowe sensing an opportunity to try and get on terms. If he can carry his momentum nicely, there might be an opportunity in towards turn 8. The race for 4th position reignited as Andrea Locatelli clips his own teammate and also brings Alex Lowe back into the fray. Andrea Locatelli and Alex Lowe's. Only 510 metres the run towards turn 1, but that looks like it's going to be enough for Locatelli, who stands up Remy Gardner. Gardner now offline. Alex Lowe's will try to cut back off turn 2. I don't think he was quite close enough to make his move on Remy Gardner.
Yeah, not close enough through 2, but it's about maintaining that momentum through 3 to then see if you can set something up into 4. But you can see again there from Lowe's, just backing that bike in, total confidence in the package underneath him. He knows there's a chance of a really good points-paying finish here.
Real commitment from Andrea Locatelli as well. He was showing the front wheel, I think, to put it politely, to Remy Gardner. Eventually he manages to get it through. Gardner tumbling backwards as this race has gone on has been the main story actually this afternoon thus far, and Gardner now drops into 6th position with Alex Lowe's up into P5. Turn 14 for the number 14, Sam Lowe's crashes out, and frustration for him from a top 10 scoring position, just trying to find a little bit of extra pace, I think, to defend against Michael van der Mark. The Dutchman is now released up into P8.
Yeah, for Lowe's last time around, he was a couple of tenths of a second faster than van der Mark, and it was a case of trying to push on, you'd imagine, because he can see that carrot in front of him with Ian One just coming back by a 10th here, a 10th there, and turn 14, it's caught out so many riders over the course of this weekend, and unfortunately for Lowe's, it's caught him out as well. You can see Toprak's pace and consistency here, pretty much the mid to low 34s. That's the kind of times that you have to run here at Misano. Last time around for Toprak, a 34.6. That was actually cancelled for track limits exceeding, and he's had that a few times during the race, and that is something that we do have to keep an eye on.
Ilkka Lekkonen missing the races in Assen last time out with a knee injury sustained in practice. Up versus Axel Bassani, who still holds firmly on to that 10th place. We know Axel Bassani gives absolutely nothing away. And with 4 laps to go, he will say, well, do you know what? I think I'm capable of defending for 4 laps. Lekkonen, of course, has other ideas. Yeah,
Lekkonen, he can spot that top 10 spot, and he's been putting the pressure on here on Bassani for a lap and a half, and Bassani hasn't made a mistake yet.
Sam Lowe's back in his pit box, just debriefing on that spill, pushing as hard as he could to remain ahead of what is now the fight a little bit further back, further ahead of these two. Michael van der Mark trying to close down Andrea Iannone. The gap, though, still pretty stagnant at 1.1 seconds. 1.7 back from Van der Mark is Danilo Petrucci, then 3 seconds back at this fight between Axel Bassani and Ika Lecuona. And this time Lecuona is almost alongside. Bassani will still not yield. Closes the door. Lecuona, though, has already got 1 foot through. That's the door jam well and truly burst ajar by Ika Lecuona. Bassani knows he's got to hit back straight away because Lecuona has the faster bike, and unless he makes his move into turn 14 here, which Bassani might think about a recovery, then I think Lecuona should escape away. We'll see if Bassani does jab back down the inside. The answer to that is no. Lecuona is clear for P10. Toprak Razgatlioglu, a winner in Catalonia, a winner in the Netherlands, and a winner in race 1 of the Emilia-Romagna round to take the championship lead for BMW for the first time in over a decade. Toprak Razgatlioglu dominates the first race of the weekend in Misano, 1.8 seconds ahead of Nicolo Bulliger at the checkered flag, and his main title rival Alvaro Bautista relegated to 3rd, relegated to 2nd in the series standings. Razgatlioglu leads us with a 3-point advantage.